Not every great game gets the spotlight it deserves. While some titles dominate the charts, others quietly slip through the cracks. In this video, we're shining a light on those hidden gems. These are the games that had the heart, the creativity, and the gameplay to stand out, but for one reason or another, never got the attention they deserved. So let's take a moment to appreciate the ones that got away. Nine Sols is Red Candle Games' latest release, and it's a huge change from their last game, Devotion. They've gone from making a psychological horror game to creating a fast-paced, animated, side-scrolling action game inspired by Sekiro. You play as Yi, a cat alchemist on a quest for revenge against the Nine Sols, the powerful rulers of a mysterious world called New Kunlun. The game stands out for its tight parry-focused combat. Think fast sword fights where timing your deflections is key. The boss battles are tough but fair, and beating them feels really rewarding. If you've played games like Hollow Knight, you might expect a Metroidvania, but Nine Sols is more of a pure action game with connected areas to explore. What really makes it shine is the beautiful hand-drawn art manga-style cutscenes and a unique Tao punk setting that mixes cyberpunk with Eastern mythology. The music and world design are top-notch, and the story is surprisingly deep. And if the difficulty feels too much, there are options to make it easier. Overall, Nine Sols is one of the year's best action games, challenging, stylish, and totally unique. If you're looking for something new, you should definitely check it out. Rise of the Ronin is probably Team Ninja's most complete game yet. It's a big open-world action RPG, but still keeps the tight skill-based combat that fans loved in Nioh. One of the coolest things is that your choices really matter. They can change the story and even how the game ends, so there's a lot of replay value and your decisions feel important. The game is ambitious and mostly delivers on what it promises, but it kind of got overlooked last year because other big games were getting all the attention. Honestly, Rise of the Ronin deserves to be talked about with the best of them. It's just as good, and for some players, maybe even better. The combat is the real highlight here. It's really satisfying with lots of weapon styles, cool abilities, and a parry system that makes it a bit easier than Nioh, but still challenging and fun. You can really customize your character, and the setting, Japan during the Boshin War, feels fresh and unique. Sure, the graphics aren't amazing, and some parts can feel repetitive or a bit old school, but overall, this is a game that's much better than the attention it got. If you missed it, it's definitely worth checking out. Have you ever noticed how virtual reality games don't always get the love they deserve? I mean, unless it's a huge title like Half-Life Alyx or Beat Saber, they can kind of fly under the radar. And that's a shame, because there are some real gems out there. Take Vertigo 2, for example. It's an amazing VR first-person shooter that's super creative and engaging, but not many people know about it. I mean, it's only got a few thousand reviews on Steam, which is crazy. So, what makes Vertigo 2 so special? Well, for starters, it's got some of the most unique and imaginative weapons I've ever seen in a game, and the way you reload them is just as cool. The game's also got a really varied campaign with lots of different environments, creative scenarios, and some seriously epic boss fights. Plus, it's built from the ground up for VR, so it feels really immersive and natural. The story's really engaging too, with some light puzzle solving and exploration to keep things interesting. And the best part is, it's all been created by just one developer, which is just mind-blowing. So if you've got a VR headset, you owe it to yourself to check out Vertigo 2. It's a must-play title that's definitely worth more attention than it's getting. If you've played games like Signalis or Crow Country, imagine that kind of indie survival horror, but set during World War I instead of a creepy sci-fi future or a throwback to Resident Evil. That's what you get with Conscript. This game is seriously dark and bleak, but it's really well made and designed for fans of survival horror. It doesn't make things so hard or stingy with supplies that it feels unfair or annoying. Combat in Conscript can be a bit rough and probably won't be everyone's favorite part, but it fits the brutal, hopeless feeling of trench warfare. The atmosphere is intense, the pixel art style is solid, and the game really nails the feeling of war as pure horror. It just makes sense to use a survival horror style in this setting, and it works really well. The game keeps things interesting, with just the right amount of danger and puzzles, and it's definitely challenging. The story and setting are perfect for horror, and the indie developers did a great job. If you're into indie horror games, Conscript is one to check out. It's been a great year for indie horror, and this game is a standout. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden is an ambitious action RPG from Don't Nod that blends deep narrative choices with engaging combat and exploration. Set in 17th century New England, the game follows Red and Antia, two spirit hunters and lovers, as they confront a supernatural curse and face a personal tragedy when Antia becomes a ghost. Players switch between Red and Antia, using each character's unique abilities to solve mysteries, uncover clues, and battle spirits. A standout feature is the game's decision-making system. Choices have real consequences, opening up new quests and shaping the fate of both the townsfolk and the main characters. The dialogue is strong, and the story is filled with emotional moments and morally complex situations, making every decision feel meaningful. Combat combines swordplay, ranged attacks, and ghostly powers, evolving as you unlock new skills. While some may find the controls occasionally clunky or the enemy variety lacking, the ability to freely switch abilities and playstyles keeps the action fresh. Exploration and investigation add further depth, with each character offering different perspectives and tools for uncovering secrets. Overall, Banishers Ghosts of New Eden delivers a memorable and unique ghost hunting experience, balancing narrative depth with rewarding gameplay.
He will suffer like I do!
We only wish to speak with you.
Vampire Survivors came out just 2 years ago and already inspired a bunch of similar games, but things are moving fast in this genre. Kill Knight is a great example of how these games are evolving. It takes the basics, fighting off waves of enemies, chasing high scores, and unlocking new gear, but cranks up the speed and intensity. Unlike some games in this style, where you can play more passively, Kill Knight keeps you on your toes the whole time. You have to manage your resources, time your attacks just right, and use your special abilities carefully. The action never lets up, with quick runs, tough enemies, and lots of moments where you have to react fast. The visuals are flashy, with dramatic effects and screen shakes that make everything feel even more exciting. Kill Knight is perfect if you like high-stakes skill-based action. Every move counts, and the game really rewards you for staying focused and playing fast. It's tough, but super addictive, offering some of the most satisfying gameplay in this growing genre. If you want a game that takes the Vampire Survivors formula and makes it even more intense, Kill Knight is definitely worth checking out. A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead is one of those games you might think is just a quick movie tie-in, but it's actually much more than that. The developers really tried to make it a true horror experience, not just something to cash in on the movies. The Quiet Place movies are a perfect fit for a horror game, since staying quiet and avoiding noise is already a classic game mechanic. If you've ever played stealth games like Splinter Cell, you'll feel right at home here. The game makes you move slowly and carefully because the monsters called Death Angels will hunt you down if you make too much noise. Because of this, the game is very slow-paced and tense. Every step you take and every object you touch could be dangerous, which makes things feel both stressful and strangely calming at times. It's not for everyone. Some people might get frustrated with how careful you have to be, but if you get into it, the tension really works. The story is surprisingly engaging with characters you actually care about. The visuals are impressive, and there's even an option to let the game pick up sounds from your headset mic. It's a unique horror game with some clever ideas, and while it might not be for everybody, it definitely stands out and deserves a mention. Anomaly Agent is one of those games where you really can't judge it by first impressions. Sure, the main character's animation might look a bit awkward at first, but don't let that fool you. This is a solid side-scrolling action game. The pixel art style might not be everyone's favorite, but the action is super fast and smooth, and the soundtrack is absolutely awesome. Even when some parts of the game don't look perfect, it's packed with so many wild ideas and such a unique style that it just adds to the over-the-top world they've built. At its core, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up mixed with platforming, and it's all really fast and intense. You'll be fighting your way through enemies making choices that actually change the story, and facing off against some tough bosses. Honestly, the trailers and store videos don't really capture how fun this game is. It's something you have to play for yourself to really get it. If you've played Katana Zero, imagine that style but without dying in one hit. That's what Anomaly Agent feels like. So if you enjoyed Katana Zero, you'll probably have a great time with this one too. If you know Devolver Digital, you know they always publish games that are a bit out there, and Children of the Sun is no exception. This game is wild, stylish, and super violent, but what really makes it stand out is its simple but super satisfying main idea. Here's how it works. Every level is packed with cultists, but your character, the Revenging Sniper, only gets one bullet. You have a psychic power that lets you control that bullet as it flies. Every time you hit a cultist, you get to redirect the bullet to another target. Miss one, and you have to start the level over. So instead of just aiming and shooting, each level feels like a puzzle you have to solve. As you go, you unlock new abilities like steering the bullet in midair or changing its path completely, even if you haven't hit anyone yet. You recharge these powers by hitting weak spots, and the cultists get tougher with shields and psychic tricks of their own, so the challenge keeps ramping up. The game doesn't drag on too long either. It's just a fun, unique experience, kind of like Sniper Elite meets Super Hot, and it's definitely worth checking out if you want something different. Sonic the Hedgehog has been making a quiet comeback, and Sonic X Shadow Generations is a big part of that excitement. At first, it looked like just a simple remaster of the 2011 classic, but it's actually much more. Not only do you get the original Sonic Generations with updated graphics and smoother gameplay, but there's also a brand new campaign starring Shadow the Hedgehog that's turning a lot of heads. The Shadow Generations campaign refines the formula, focusing on modern, fast-paced gameplay and introducing new abilities that add variety and depth. The level design and controls are among the best seen in recent Sonic titles, and the expanded overworld is engaging to explore. The story leans into Sonic's signature over-the-top style, even bringing back characters like Black Doom, but manages to add genuine heart and substance to Shadow's journey. While the Shadow campaign isn't lengthy, it's substantial and memorable, making the collection worthwhile for both newcomers and longtime fans. Sonic X Shadow Generations is more than just a remaster. It's a confident step forward for the franchise, blending nostalgia with fresh ideas and proving there's still plenty of life in the Sonic universe. And there you have it, some of the most criminally underrated games that deserved way more love. It's easy to miss out on these hidden gems with so many big titles grabbing the spotlight, but hopefully this video helped you discover something new to check out. If you enjoyed this list, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and let me know in the comments what underrated games you think more people should play. I'd love to hear your picks.